Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first question and answer session of 2021. Hope you all had an amazingly great new year and some good time off. I know Chris certainly did. But before we go into what we're going to be doing, just a little shout out to ODYS, who are our sponsors. Do check them out on the link below, odys.cc. You can get £100 to spend by simply signing up, and you can use that on an age domain or a done for you website. But enough of that stuff. Chris has just opened another can of Monster. His
300 Monster. Come on now.
Monster?
no, it's a rock star.
A rock star, that's the one.
Yes. We're shooting stars, but I drink rock star.
So Chris is on that. But let us know who is all in the chat. Let us know what questions you've got for us today. Feel free to ask anything if you're a new person to the chat. We can talk about GMBs, general SEO, general marketing stuff, whatever you want. There's a good bit of experience here. Maybe if we can't answer your questions, someone in the chat can. Who have we got today? We've got Itamar, Eslam, Honey, Randy Rode, Itamar saying, how is everyone?
Good.
Eslam will come back to that in a moment. Holly Starks is there. Hello, Holly.
Morning, Holly.
Here to you. Hope all is good. Chris, you rock star, and Honey again. We've got Ephemos Drivas. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
That is like a Greek name. Would I be right in saying that? I probably got it completely wrong, but
I won't even try.
Yeah, I don't even know why I type these things. It's just setting myself up for failure. But is in the chat. What questions do you guys have? What do you want us to answer for you this week? Bash away with your questions in the chat. But while those questions are coming in, Chris,
yes.
What has been new with you over the last week? Is there anything new or cool went on, or anything crazy?
No, I've been doing I've been spending quite a bit of time with my family actually, but no, nothing new. It's been I mean, I have some things in the background, but nothing to report on, like nothing good, but it's been going great. How about you, Craig?
To be honest, I have probably slacked a lot over Christmas and New Year. I've fallen behind on launching my free SEO course, which was meant to go out yesterday. I postponed that until Friday because, to be honest, I took more time than I probably should have off. I was probably burnt out and used a lot of the Christmas and New Year period just to spend with the family and chill out and slob around. So yeah, nothing exciting in the SEO front. I have just been chilling, man. So
that's right.
I think sometimes we need to do that because we do burn out in the end. And I know before, you've said before you just like working, but there has to be time with the family as well. And I think that time of year is the perfect time for it. But we've got questions here. Enough about our garbage. You have nothing exciting to report in our personal life. And our family are all fit and healthy, which is always a good thing. But
that's right.
Islam has the first question. I have a customer that has an online courses website but has no physical address. Can I build business directory backlinks without a physical address? So, Chris, do you want to tell them about the NAP and the importance of it?
Yeah, I mean, I do think... I mean, you can always get away with the zip, right? And I think I've been asked this a lot of times. But with that being said, I mean, digital references for a online courses business, right? Those aren't. I mean, are those the most powerful or most beneficial for an online course business? And you're not necessarily targeting, or maybe you are, local markets or directories. So if we're looking for a boost as far as power is concerned, I mean, that's not the place I'd be looking for an online course business. But with that said, hey, if they don't have an address, there's two options. I mean, you could do service area, you could also utilize your zip code, or you could always, wherever they get their mail, you could utilize that address. So
Yeah.
that's up to you. There's a lot of options there. That's the best I got.
Yeah, there's not much else you can add there to that. You've got to take one of those options or you are stumped. But I certainly think there is a lot of traffic kicking about in local places as well. So if there's enough there, try and capture it and use their mailing address would be what I would want to do. And a happy new year to Ephemus. Randy Rodet is asking, what WP plugins do you like to use for site speed?
I mean, I primarily really like WP Rocket. So WP Rocket with a CDN is more than enough. I also like Flying Pages. And they have a couple little tool sets within there that work pretty well. But WP Rocket, Flying Pages, sometimes I'll get to a site and they'll have I think it's called, how it's pronounced is like Imagely or something along those lines. I've used that. I've used Smush. I don't really like Smush that much. But WP Rocket gets it done with Flying Pages. I really like those tools. Maybe not together, but I like those.
I'm the same. I'm a massive WP Rocket fan. I've got that on my own bunch of websites. I also use, I'm not sure if it's the same one you used. I've tried Smush in the past. Imagify, I think.
Imagify, that's it.
Is the one that I'm using to kind of get those images compressed. But between those two, that's more than enough for me. There is a whole bunch of other ones out there, but there's no point in. I mean, WP Rocket pretty much does all the stuff you need to do, all in the one plugin. So you don't need to have like 2, 3, 4, 5 plugins to do certain things. That's so right. WP Rocket is my preferred choice as well. So
yep. And I'm always looking too. Like if I'm going out and I'm surfing the web or I'm looking for content and something loads fast, then I'm in my developer tools. Like what do these guys have? What are these guys doing here? I'm always looking for themes and plugins and stuff. Like somebody's doing it good. I'm looking to see what they got.
Yeah. Steal what someone's doing or borrow.
Yeah, that's right.
Guys, also make sure you do give us a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. Do check out Chris Palmer's show as well, Chris Palmer SEO, because he is still not giving up and he's bashing more and more content out.
Never.
After more and more of my search terms, I'm going to have to fight him back sometime.
Took so long, if somebody's going to start, I'm just going to keep going because if somebody wants to catch up once I get to a certain, it's going to be a long run to catch up when I get there. When I get to the top, it's going to be a long run for somebody.
I love it. Ephemus is asking, do robots read? Do they have to get a meaning as a human reader?
I do believe that with advancements and as Google, if that's what we're talking about, is progressing, are they able to understand things better and better as time is progressing? Surely. But at the end of the day, can they read and does it really matter? Because it's just going to be a number crunch to the bot anyway. It's going to be a number crunch. Does it have these words, these are right? So the answer is no, but do I think that it can advance? Yes. Yeah,
it will happen eventually. Chris is on fire. I'm all ears. Not sure what you're on fire about, but you usually are on fire, Chris.
Thank you.
We're still not received a complimentary CBD cake yet. Well, I've certainly not, Chris. Have you?
No, I did. Never mind. No. No.
Tell me you've had one because I'll be pissed. If CBD Cakes has sent you one and I've not got one.
He didn't send it to me, but they have those CBD for joint, they have them all over here. And I don't know about where you are in Scotland, but here they sell CBD, stuff is everywhere now. So they have these cookies and cucks and it doesn't do anything to you, but you do feel I don't know. I had a good night's sleep. I felt refreshed. It's not a daily thing, obviously, but I have tried them.
Yeah. I might have to try some CBD cake. Sort me out, man.
Yeah.
Islam is asking, I work for a company that build websites and also do marketing. They have a ton of backlinks from the websites they built, adding created by the company, named at the footer. Is this okay? So do you still see value in that, Chris, or do you think Google have potentially devalued the power of those footer links?
I still think that there's value there. I think I'd be very cautious, but I think it can still be effective and certainly going to pass. They're still being credited. If you put links in your footer, that's the question you're asking. Are footer links accredited? And the answer is yes. So,
but if you're doing this on a massive scale, Chris, if you're doing this on a massive scale, hundreds or if not thousands of websites, and obviously these footer links are site-wide. So if a website has 10,000 pages, that website giving you 10,000 links, is it dangerous at that point?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's, yes. Yeah, it is.
That's the point I want to try and make is, no, it won't harm you doing it in a small way. But if you're going to be working with big websites and stuff, it's going to be very bloody spammy, because you need to bear in mind that that's site-wide. And, say you do the web design and then the guy goes in and gets a mass page builder plugged into the back end of that website and churns out 20,000 location pages, then you are probably in deep trouble.
Yeah, that's
so
a problem.
Be careful of things like that. That's why I'm not a fan of them being on the footer anymore, just because it does potentially lead to spam and you might not even be aware of it. So, yeah,
that's good advice.
You play caution. So that's just, my thoughts on it. But
I always like our two thoughts. Like, I'm thinking, I read it differently. Hey, does this pass value? The answer is sure. But you're looking at it like, no, well, it does, but it could, what if they did this? You're screwed, dude. No.
I just think like a bad guy. Well, not a bad guy, but I'm probably wired up the wrong way. But I always have a different look on it. How can this harm me? And I always like to look at that side. Holly,
I'm very optimistic. How can this help? You're like, I couldn't screw you though.
Someone else who lives on the dark side is Miss Holly Starks. Did you guys get hit with the December the 4th update? Sorry if this was asked previously. I've checked a few of my sites get nailed. Went from 50k rankings to 10k rankings. Any ideas on what the update was, Chris?
That's what I mean. From the few people, nothing on mine, but the few people that I have talked to that were having issues, it was primarily they were getting a lot of keywords. Now they're getting a lower amount of keywords. So it was like whatever the page is optimized for, instead of you getting all those variations and getting, a page ranking for 1,000 keywords, they just really solidified it, is what I've seen. So I don't know what you would call that, the solidification update, but that's what I'm seeing.
I think a lot of people have. I had Brad and Mike on a few weeks ago prior to Christmas, and I think their take on it was, again, they used men's candles as an example. So say you sell scented men's candles, and a very specific thing, you were probably also ranking for, men's candles and maybe some other men-related search terms, or just basic candle-related search terms that were nothing to do with the men's scented stuff. And I think, Google have solidified that, and you don't rank for as many those keywords, because if you look at everyone's website and the keyword volume, pretty much every website has dipped in some way in terms of keywords. And I think, it's not. A lot of people say, "Oh, my keywords have dropped by 40%," but has the revenue and the and the kind of form fills and all that actually dipped by 40%? The answer is probably no. So I think a lot of the garbage keywords are stuff that probably didn't bring in a huge amount of traffic or leads, has probably dropped off and stuff like that. So I think, that has been one thing, but I've heard a lot of people talking about, the likes of Gear Hungry and stuff have tanked, and James Dooley and all these other guys are all their ideas around it are a lot of the articles that have dropped in a lot of websites just don't have a whole bunch of supporting content. They don't have good topical clusters. It's just, those people that have just basically used the spray and pray approach and not really done the job properly as such. So I think that is the things that I've been picking up and trying to implement into my own websites. But I think everybody had a bit of a dip. So hopefully that helps you, Holly, and hopefully you can well, it's not hopefully, I'm sure you will turn it around. There's absolutely no hopefuls in it. So Holly will have that twisted in her favour sooner rather than later, I'm sure of it. That's Itamars is talking about impressions spiking up, but yeah, who knows the exact thing. But
right.
FMOS, if I take all my competitors' green phrases through Google Cloud Language Tool and throw them into my schema, will Google accept it, even if the text is a little bit mixed?
I'm going to need you to, I mean, I have no idea what you're talking about, my friend. Green phrases through Google Cloud Language Tool. I don't know what you mean by this. Take all my competitors' phrases through the Google Cloud Language Tool and then throw them into my schema. Will Google accept even if the text is a little bit mixed? I'm not sure what I'm sorry. I'm just not really sure what exactly you're getting at there. Craig, do you have any, what do you think?
I'm not entirely sure what green phrases means, but I'm going to guess that he is wanting to put his competitors' phrases through Google, the Cloud Language Tool, and then just add them to his schema. Now, adding schema, you have to add page to the content to the page. That is what Google's going to accept, not what you've added in your schema. So what you could potentially do is go and grab your competitors' subheadings and other semantically related keywords and add them, header, 200 words of text, and try and make that page rank for more keywords. Yes, but just simply adding it to schema, and it's your competitor stuff and you've no content on there, it isn't going to make a blind bit of difference to your website. So
No,
I'm not sure. I've never heard of anyone trying that strategy, but we may pick that up wrong. So if we have, come back to us and tell us. Everyone uses different terms. I'm not sure what you mean by green phrases. If that means green, positive phrases going up in the refs or whatever. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but it could be. But yeah, let us know and we'll come back to that one. Good to see Mr. Ryan Houghton 3. Nice new logo. Love it when I get logged into my old account. Yeah, he's logged into his old account. I thought that was a new logo. Honey is asking, please suggest high-paying affiliates that are legit.
Yeah, I think anybody who comes, I think that's one of those things kind of like with, copywriters, or if you get a good article writer that's not a content mill. I think that's one of those things, like if you get a good private affiliate, I don't know if that's something that Craig would share. Is that something? I mean, I'm sure you could rattle off a couple.
For sure.
But would you give up the private best networks? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, just in general in the digital marketing space, you've got SEMrush who give you 40% recurring for the lifetime value of a customer. You've got there's so many.
Every company.
Google such and such affiliate. You're not going to get much more than 40% through SEMrush. No one's giving you that, but there's loads of 20%, 10%. Courses like Authority Hacker are giving you $1,000 a sign up. A lot of other course providers, Robbie Richards, Chris Palmer, there's loads of them have done courses that were paying, between 30 and 40 and 50% of their courses. So for me, what I tend to do is look for guys that have got something good to sell, like courses, because there's a lot of money in that. And just, tools and courses are probably the biggest things in the digital marketing space. But you've got hotel affiliates, you've got every type of affiliate out there. It's very hard to nail down. I don't know every niche in the world, but I think, for me, I don't want to be doing Amazon affiliate where I'm getting 2 and 3%. It's easier for me to sell Chris Palmer's courses and get myself 30% or whatever it might be. it's just an easier sell, and I've demonstrated by being able to do that, and I made a few quid off of Chris for fun. But that, you know, these things I would spend more time on, and it's just really a hell of a lot easier. Chris just pays me into my PayPal job, and there's no arguing, no nothing. It's all tracked, job done. So I'd be looking for private guys, you know, selling courses and whatnot, and SaaS tools. You generally get some decent commissions from that, and it's really easy to sell. If these guys have got good knowledge, you're taking advantage of their brand, their experience. They're the mugs doing all the coursework, and you just clean up and get free money.
Jeez, man.
Sorry,
that's true though.
But you know, listen, I make courses as well, but I do the hard work sometimes, but it just feels a lot better taking money off of Chris, like for doing nothing. Like, just showing it to my social
I welcome
media
anybody to help take money from me. I got affiliate codes for everybody.
So yeah, look at that, honey, and that should work. Mr. Paul Hogden has arrived. WP Rocket is good, but generally try and keep plugins down and reduce plugins. Right. I hope you're taking heed of that, Paul, when you're sorting my site out. Less plugins.
Yeah, I ran into that recently, a mistake. I took in somebody and they had a bunch, and I was like, I learned a valuable lesson recently, but I've run into that a lot. People have all these plugins, and it's like, man, that's not how I do it. I have two. You know, here's here's Thrive Architect and here's WP Rocket. You know, like that's it.
Well, are you not using all-in-one SEO plugin or?
Oh yeah, I have that. That's right. Yeah, I have all-in-one. I do have that. Sorry, that's right. I do have that.
I'm just curious, but yeah, plugin heavy websites are not good, which is why Mr. Hogden is cleaning out the back end of my website, putting a new template on it, making it look nicer, and reducing the amount of plugins that were on there. So that is actually advice that I'm doing for myself. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Ryan Houghton, what have I put in the title? I probably wrote something, Palmer. I was in a rush. I always edit the title after the show. Oh, Chiz Palmer, I wrote in the title, but I always change it after it goes live anyway, to something more specific, depending on what we're talking about. So I will update that. But keep your questions coming, guys. Andy Chubb, thinking of building my first affiliate website. What are your top tips for this?
Really like what you're talking about. Have somebody that can write the content for you at a rapid rate that you trust. Have your plan mapped out before you start pages, your content strategy. Like, have it mapped out what you're going to do. Make sure you have a content writer. Make sure you actually like what you're doing. And most of all, make sure you can find and acquire a private affiliate beforehand. So basically you're locked in. Then when you start, it's just a matter of process. And don't be in a rush. Don't ever be in a rush. Take your time, take it easy, and you'll win. That's my best advice.
What I'd also say on top of that, Andy, is try and avoid seasonal niches. I jumped in the golf niche and probably killed my earnings for 4 months of the year. I blindly went into it and didn't realize that was a thing. Also, if you're going to do it from a investor point of view, so for example, when I launch a project, I'm not doing it. I'm not writing the content. I'm not doing all of the grunt work. I'm basically investing in a project. And when you do that, make sure you invest in the right niche where the products are high ticket or at least worth more than $100. Again, with my golf website, the average sale value in that website was $20. Now it costs me the same amount of money for content, links, and everything else to sell a £20 product than it would a £200 product. So make sure that you try and avoid those, low end of the market niches. Try and sell something that is £100 plus, £500, whatever. And you might not get the volume that you would by selling something at $20, but it's a numbers game. People are still interested in whatever it may be, and you want to be the dominant force for that. And it it costs the same amount of money. So you can't. It's not feasible to churn out content and sell £20 items when you could be selling £200 items. So that's just a couple of other tips as well. Avoid seasonal and try and get items that are worth more than £100, because those are things that I've slipped into and just been like, why did it put it that niche?
And you get your traffic cranking, and then you're looking at the money and you're like, wait a minute here, I just spent $6,000 on all this content. You're like, go crazy. Yeah. That's a big one. That's a big one. Yeah.
And I've made way more mistakes than I have successful niches, and it's just those stupid little things that make all the difference. So, Andy, hopefully that helps you, mate.
I love that. That's so much. You just took all that heartache, those lessons, the money you spent, the time you spent, and just were able to say, here, so you don't have to make that. In one little sentence, you were able to give them that. Think of what you just gave them. I mean, that's why I like doing this. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Give us a like, Andy, for that knowledge form. Give us a like and a subscribe.
Yeah.
Already. So, Zishan Ali, is it correct for local SEO that we have to add our business or services in the GMB or no ranking on local SEO website?
Add your business or services in the GMB. Well, I think I go back to Jordan's thing because I loved when he said it. I think for validation of an entity, a brand, a business, a service, what I do, where I'm at, nothing does it better than a Google My Business. And then walk right over to Bing and do the same thing with their business. Set it up on there, do Webmaster Tools, nothing validates better. So can you rank? Sure. But I think that it's just part of the process.
Yeah. Can't really add anything more than that. What I would say on top of that is so many people are ignoring Bing. Even if that squeezes another 500 people a month to your website, then it's worth it. So don't ignore it. That's all I would say.
On Android, it's pre-installed in the iPhone. I mean, it's on when you go buy a computer, it's there. Most people don't even, it's just there in your face, so.
Yeah. So, random object. I've just seen something that's really funny, actually. Wait a minute. I'm going to have to just say this now because it's actually going to make me fucking laugh if I don't read it out just now. Where the hell is it? Yeah, so talking about Chris Palmer's name, I've wrote Chiz Palmer. And
you were hey, that'll get a click though.
Chiz Palmer. So I just seen that with a bit of my eye, and I was like, man, I have to, because I'm just going to be sitting laughing until we came to that one. So sorry, I had to throw that up just now. Chiz
that was
Palmer.
On purpose. Bugger.
Your name, Chiz Palmer.
I don't know if that's funny or, man, should I hop on a plane?
Random object. Hi, if for example I have a domain locksmith hyphen whatever in Boston.com, the anchor locksmith in Boston, is that a branded anchor?
Locksmith in Boston, is it a branded anchor?
Yeah, someone who has locksmith.
I mean, if that's your name, then that's where you get tricky with those anchor texts. That's why those exacts are really good and they're great for ranking, but you have to be a little bit more careful with your anchor text and your link building. So it would be, but it's also an exact match. So you have to be careful, it is, but you be careful.
Mix it all up, random object. Just be careful what you're doing. Paul Hogden, I'll take my chances, never had an issue yet. Can't remember what we referred to there, but fair play. Demetrius, not so technical question, but does charging $300 a month to rank a GMB on maps for 2 or 3 keywords, is that too much or too little? What do you think, Chris?
Well, I mean, if it's an initial project, you have to look at what is their lead, like what are they getting? What's their value customer, per sale? I think it's, I think that's a little low, to be honest with you, even for me, so, I might go up a little. If it's just a one thing, where our goal is to get you into the map pack, and it's a one-off deal. It's not going to be maintenance and taking care of posts and taking care of, the maintenance of a GMB plus ranking. If it's just a one-off thing, then I would probably bring it more up towards 1,000.
What I would say to you, Demetrius, here is forget about what you've just asked. How much is it worth to the client for ranking for those 2 or 3 keywords? It's not what you value it at or you think it's too low or too much. It's what you can get from the client. Business is business. What is those 2 or 3 keywords going to bring in terms of traffic and revenue to that business? And if that's going to be a 6-figure sum, then say it's £100,000 of business they get from that over the course of a year. Should you be charging 2 or 3 grand for it, which is 2 or 3 plus? That's
fair.
That's the way you've got to look at it. What is it worth? Those 2 or 3 keywords could bring in $1 million. Again, should you be charging £200 or £300? Business is business. They're paying for your expertise and all that kind of stuff. You also need to value yourself a little more than the average Joe. I don't know anyone that would get out of their bed for $300 a month. It's just not worth it. It's got to be worth it for you. You've got to earn, think more positive and value yourself a little bit higher as well and squeeze what you can out of the customers. They don't know any better. Business is business. And that's how, let's think about it this way. The supermarket, how much did they pay for the apples and oranges that we're buying from them? Probably 2 pence a go. They're selling them to us for 50 pence a go. There's a margin there. There's a profit. And that is what business is. So never be afraid to make a profit. Absolutely not. You need to find something and that you can sell for a profit. And that's it. So everyone in the world's doing it. So why shouldn't you? Is the way I would.
Especially if you know you can deliver what they're looking for. Because there's a lot of guys out there that'll do it for the 3. But if you know you can deliver on that, then I think it's fair play to charge whatever you feel is, whatever it's worth. But 300 is so low. That's low.
Yeah.
That's low.
Stephen Shapiro was asking, do you do some black hat on this live stream? How is the live viewer count so high? It's only 434. For someone that's got 50,000 subscribers, it's natural. No black hat. I think I demonstrated in a video a few weeks ago, you can try and get bots and all that stuff, but they don't really go above 200. So, there's no point. We're not interested in talking to fresh air. The engagement and the questions and everything else that come in, and having 300 or 400 or 500 people here is natural for the size of the channel. So build up your channel and you can get more than that. This is probably relatively low in the grand scheme of things, but hey ho. Anyway, Zishan Ali, does the content of YouTube will be considered a duplicate for Google or not? Suppose I create videos on text to video. Same, I use that text on my Google website. Will it be duplicate? Will it rank in Google? So basically what he wants to do is transcribe videos and put it onto his website. Do you think that works, Chris?
Well, I know that it'll show up, but it's not, whatever keyword you're targeting, it's going to be, page 7, page 8. It's not going to be top tier content, it's not going to. I've done it. I've tried it thinking, hey, this is pretty slick. I'll go to somebody else's video that knows their stuff, copy, paste, change the headers, but it just doesn't work out how you want it to. So you can do it, but it's not going to be worth it. Just, this is my YouTube video, this is my content, and this is my blog or this is my article. So you can do it, but it's not going to be what you're looking for. Trust me.
So, I used to use rev.com and transcribe all my videos. I think it was $1 a minute it cost me. So, and it produced quite a lot of content, but did it really work that well? Absolutely not. What I do is get my content writer to watch a video or a tutorial and pad out some stuff with nice images and maybe even add some more value to that blog. So they're 2 different things. Don't mix them up is what I would advise. LATP, you guys are amazing for content that is answering those questions in Google. Do you post that as a post or a page? So for content that is answering those questions in Google, do you post that as a post? Ah, right, I get what you mean. So if you're putting some stuff out there, I would do it as a post, not a page. You know, if you're doing regular stuff all the time, it would be a blog post rather than a page. You know, a service page, like if I was doing an SEO audits or consultancy, I would have a page in my website that is static that says that I do consultancy. But any kind of regular news or answering customers' questions or, you know, like FAQs or just offering minor tips, then I would do them as blog posts. I hope that's what you're asking. Chris, you look as if you've got a different interpretation here.
No, I'm intrigued by your answer there. I'm just intrigued by that. That's interesting to me. A page, a post, if I'm looking at a URL structure, it's the same, whether it's a page or a post, which is, derived from WordPress. It's completely irrelevant to Google. A page is a page is a page is a page.
Post, I mean, URL, a page is a post. You could call it that. The way that I try and explain this to people is a page is what I would have in my main navigation bar. A post is what I would have on a blog or a news section on my website. So on my website, I've probably got 10 pages and the rest of it is all blog posts. Now, they all are URLs, flat URLs, blah, 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 blah. So there is no real difference.
I see what you mean.
In terms of navigational, what I don't want to do is have a cluttered navigation. I want that to be the main services. And then all of this other supporting content, if you like, would all be pinged out as a blog post and formatted in that way. That's
for explanation. That's so much better. Yeah, I understand what you mean now. I was thinking to myself, what, Craig, really?
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. See, this is the problem. I normally talk to a lot of people doing training courses and stuff, and I'm maybe not as experienced as you, Chris. So you look at it from a different way, whereas me explaining that to someone who doesn't understand SEO that well, I do it in a different way. So sometimes I can see it in your face. I'm just like, did he not understand that question, or is he, what the fuck?
No, I was baffled by your answer. I was just like, but I'm thinking to myself, you're explaining it as, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
So don't mind me. I'm just standing here.
Live RIL fan. There was even an update in YouTube. I don't know if you noticed. They're now promoting short 1 to 2 minute videos as well as YouTube short videos, which is a complete different format. So yeah, YouTube Shorts is there. And Chris, what's your opinion on this?
I've made a couple of them. I want to get a batch of them, just taken from the content that I have, because my opinion is always this: anytime a platform issues something new, you run towards it because you want to get first. So I'm getting a bunch of them together and just making them, chopping the videos. I like it. I think it's a good idea. Anytime I see something new, I run towards it. So I'd go for it. Live RL fan.
Yeah, I think for me, I had a meeting with my team today in the office, and the thing for me is, obviously I've been aware of YouTube Shorts. I think me and Chris spoke about it after last week's show off here. But what I wasn't doing is I wasn't taking that into consideration. But every time I do a video like this, what I want is for my videographer to chop it up into a 2-minute YouTube short, but probably further chop that up into a 45-minute teaser as well that I can share in social media, just with a funny section of the video or whatever, and I can share that in TikTok and I can share it across other things. So although we have an hour-long video here, that can be segmented up into help with your YouTube Shorts, and then obviously something even smaller again for the likes of Twitter, TikTok, and whatever else. So content's content. I think you just need to be wiser in chopping it up and how you then put that out there and drive more people back to this video. And that is the name of the game, just getting more exposure. So yeah, got to embrace the change. I use that strategy with great success. So Marsudin is asking, what's the name of the outsourced content checker SEO tool that you mentioned before?
Are you talking about like Copyscape or something along those lines? Or I'm not sure what you mean. I don't remember us. I'm not sure. Copyscape, maybe.
Content checker could also be Surfer or POP, Page Optimizer Pro. If you're looking at content, you want to see how many words was there, but I can't really remember what we were talking about for that particular thing. But it could be Page Optimizer Pro, Copyscape, Surfer SEO. It'll be one of them, I would imagine, is your right answer. Paul Hogden, Trevor sends his best wishes to you, Chris.
Thank you.
Do you like Trevor?
I don't know who Trevor is. I was just thanking him.
I don't even know who Trevor is either, but apparently Trevor emailed me the other day, and just an email through my website saying something along the lines of your knowledge of
oh wait, I read that in your Facebook.
Yeah, your knowledge of traffic exchange schemes seems really poor. Why would you make that assumption, Trevor? Because I have suggested that you do CTR and you mix that shit up and maybe use your mailing list and stuff. You know, that it baffles me when people say things like that, because Trevor doesn't know me. I haven't really slated any traffic exchange schemes. I mix my shit up and what I do works. So fuck you, Trevor.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah, relatively simple.
Won the time, and he took the time out of his life to write you this. Like, you know, like go over there to the, I don't want to say their names, but go over there to those channels then. You know, crap. Go learn how to blog then.
Yeah. Oh man, it's madness.
Madness.
So FMOS is saying, please try natural language API demo on Google Cloud, and you'll understand what I asked. Sorry if I pointlessly bother you, but I believe that added on the demo tools and text, you will understand. So the natural language tool in Google is nothing new. It's been around for a number of years. We didn't really understand the context of your question, but you're always welcome to bother us. It's not pointless. There's always good debates and good things to look at within this industry. We kind of understand what you're talking about now, but I'm not sure, you know, where we can go with this. But it's the natural language. Why wouldn't you use the natural language API? It's something that people should be using and using as part of the process, but other people don't tend to just use that. There's other tools and other things you can do. So everyone's different, but as I say, I can't even remember what your initial question was, but yeah, fair enough. Adding is the correct word. Anyway, Paul Delaney, one of two, Happy New Year. GMB, if a company with a global website had the opportunity to set up multiple GMBs at the physical offices of a third-party sales partner, not their own offices, some who already have GMBs under their own brands, is that dodgy? As long as the local rep GMBs had a separate brand name, clean phone number, and a domain, is that perfectly fine?
I think it is. You know, I mean, I definitely 100%. I may have even seen people go around to local areas, to pizza shops and other establishments to get, you know, suite numbers or, you know, floor twos at those establishments. So and those are still existing. So I don't see anything wrong with it as long as you can get calls. You know, and as long as it has a number that's being forwarded, that's being answered. So when somebody comes to check, and they will, it's answered. That's a big one right there. So I'd go for it. I don't see anything wrong with it.
I think you've answered your own question, Paul. You know, separate brand name, clean phone number, and clean domain. Two businesses can all be at the one address. You know, 5 businesses could be there. So I think it's different if you you were setting up a brand name, but they all had the same phone number or whatever, Google could look at that and say, these guys are at it or whatever. But the way you're going to do it, I don't see you have any problems at all. And he also says, he just gives a bit more. Am I missing anything? Asking for a friend. I love those friends of yours that ask all these questions. Yeah, my friend says that will work.
That's right.
So Stephen Shaprio's got a suggestion. You and Chris can do a live analysis of sites of people in the chat. That would be really fun and great content that can be used as separate videos too. So Stephen, we used to do live site audits actually. Itamar, who's in the chat, does a regular show on live site audits. I've done probably 50 live site audit things with SEMrush as well. And for me, they become a bit repetitive. And Chris done one. I think you done one with us and you're like, this is garbage. It ain't shedding my skills.
Not for me.
It's not for Chris. So we have done it and we did try it. The problem you've got is the people's websites that come, you start seeing the same thing over and over again. Add some more content, add some more links, you've no schema, you've no this, you've no that. It all becomes very repetitive and dies very quickly. Whereas the question and answers does allow you to come in and ask, or a variety of different people to ask different things all the time, which is why this show has probably been on for close on a year and it's still not that boring. So
more people.
Yeah.
We can help more people. It's so better.
But Itamar does do the live audits. If you like that type of thing yourself, it can be useful. I just got bored of doing them, to be honest, because it did become repetitive. Chris wasn't a fan of it. After the first show, he went, I ain't doing this. It's not fun. Yeah, Chris wants fun. And so this is a bit more fun for us.
Yeah, I have boredom all day, like dealing with sites. I'm good,
No problem at all, Andy. Holly Starks is asking, do you buy into the keyword, that keyword golden ratio thing that Doug Cunningham or Cuntington or whatever he's called talks about?
I think it's fun to have strategies,
That's not what we asked. Do you buy into it? Yes or no?
No.
Sorry, I had to get the answer out. You were going to come out with some fluffy answer there.
We could call keyword research a million different things. We're looking for opportunities and keywords that we think we can rank. You could come up with any equation you want. The objective is to write content, build links to it, and rank. That's it. So we could do it any way we want. We could figure it out. I made videos on it. I think it's cool, but it is what it is,
I'm not sure I buy into it, to be honest, Holly. I think it's someone coining, nothing against the guy or anything. I don't know the guy personally, but I've seen him around. It could be his belief in it works very well for him. Do I think there is a golden ratio and all that stuff? Absolutely not. I go about my things in a different way. I think Google's a bit more cleverer, semantically related keywords and all that kind of stuff. And that worked well for me. So you could argue all day, like Doug could say his way works and it probably does work. But it's just coining a term and making something seem a bit more complex than it really is.
That's right.
Really, in my opinion. So that's my thoughts on that. But no offense to Doug, I'm sure he's a great guy, does successful stuff. Yeah, it is what it is.
What do you think, Holly?
Yeah, what do you think, Holly? Come on. Andy has said he subscribed and liked. Thank you very much. Anyone else who wants to leave a like on the video, please do so, and a little subscribe if you don't mind. 94% of people who watch this don't actually subscribe. Do you believe that, Chris?
I don't believe it. I feel that's low. It should be, I think it's low. I do like when there's more people that are unsubscribed watching it, because that means Google's pushing you out. But that ratio is very, very, very high, and I want better for you, Craig. So subscribe. No.
So, help me out with that, guys. But Austin Parkman is asking, I want to create my own PBNs. Is it better to target expired domains or auction domains? Also, ODYS, sell age domains up there, odys.cc. But anyway, since links are very important, if we made 5 PBNs, could we just link it all at our money website? So, Chris, I'll let this one go to you.
Domains. Well, if you have the budget, an auction domain is great. I think it's a little bit better. However, for speed, scalability, and for price, your budget, you can get a lot more faster by getting expired and then building them out the way they were, or repurposing them. It's up to you. So the answer is yes. Whatever you're asking, can you do it and buy expired or buy auctions? You can do both. But I think it all comes down to how much time, what's the impact, and what's your budget. So,
say you bought expired domains or whatever, regardless of where you got them from, and you made 5 PBNs, would you just link them all to your money website?
All of them to the same site?
Yeah.
And I own them all under the same registrar in my own name. Like I wouldn't do it that way. I'd probably I'd probably use them for multiple different sites, but I mean, maybe 1 to 5 is perfectly fine. Yeah, I mean, I would, sure.
5, but if you do 55, you're running into danger. So, just let's say that you want to mix things up and don't, make a PBN that links to everything you've got either. Avoid leaving massive footprints.
I always try to steer away from the stuff like I like this kind of stuff, but I hate to tell somebody something and then 4 months they're like, "Hey, remember when I asked you?" That's why I was like, I was trying to think of some more clever, safer way to do it, and then it was just answer the question, and yes, I would do it, but that's me,
Yeah. At level 5 or whatever, it's not a great deal. So. But any more, if you start doing that, 105, you're in danger territory. But is there any benefit of using an expired domain for a 301 redirect, or only auction domains with good metrics? Should I also bother with social signals? So there's no point in 301 redirecting something that doesn't have good metrics and no power. A lot of people who do 301 redirects will probably put the website up first when they buy it, whether it's an expired domain or auction domain. They'll put it up, let the Google crawl and index all the old content. They'll repurpose stuff from the Wayback Machine. They may add some new content. They may blast the hell out of it with links to get those metrics even more powerful, and then do a 301 redirect. The whole purpose of doing a 301 redirect is to pass that power over to the new domain name. And if you're buying a domain name just to do a 301 redirect because someone said it's a good thing to do, then you're doing it wrong. You're trying to pass that power from something that actually has power. So that's where you have to look at it. Should I bother with social signals? Also, what I would say is there's social signals out there which just trip your counter, and there's guys out there like Signal Boy who sell real social signals from fake personas and a whole bunch of other stuff that actually are going to get you real social signals, real traffic, real kind of, stuff. So there's 2 types of social signals. The first one I wouldn't buy. If it was Signal Boy, yes, I do buy them, because they are real people essentially, and so there's 2 different types of social signals, and the first type I don't think offers any value. What's your opinion, Chris?
301ing expired or auctions only if the anchor text and the power is there, right? If it maps perfectly. Aside from that, I made a video today for 301s. If you probably already have assets in place, so power up those assets with 301s. That's a better option. Social signals are there to validate link building. So like he said, whatever the service is, if it's a quality service, shares, Twitter tweets, and all this stuff happens. If you're doing a link building campaign, if you want to validate it, it's just an added precaution. Social signals can help. So that's my take on all that.
Perfect. Rich, web developer, good to see you, man. He's back. Happy New Year. Hope this year's a lot better for you, Rich. Good to see you back on the show. That's the first time he's been on since like June live show. He actually had to have, and I hope you don't mind me saying, Rich, you had a big heart bypass and all that stuff, and he was on our earlier shows, disappeared for a few months because of the old operation, but he was catching up on the recordings of them. But great guy, and it's good to see him back on the mend and back on the live shows. So good man, Rich. Good to see you. A couple of people talking about waiting for a complete Black Hat SEO course.
Covering what exactly? What would be the specific things? Give me a list of 3 things that you really like to know and learn. I'm just curious. You know, what would be a Black Hat course? Because when we're talking about Black Hat, what you're leaning towards is you want me, you know, what do you want to learn? I'm curious. What's Black Hat?
Yeah, let us know, and I'm sure someone can do something. So Honey is saying that the keyword golden ratio works well. Holly's saying she does text to video all the time. It's not duplicate content. Any tips to getting your brand on Alexa without paying Amazon?
They have the no, I don't have any tips.
Nope, neither do I. Chris, I feel like you did have a tip there and it was about to roll off your tongue and you're holding back.
No, I don't. I really don't. I wish I did. You know, I wish I did. I'm sorry.
Cool. Nah, I don't know. I don't play with stuff like that. And good to see you, Guy Fox. Not seen you here for a few weeks, so happy New Year. Marsudin, that was the one, so he's got his answer. Live IRL fan, I'm thinking of creating my own 4G proxies to use for YouTube. Do you know anyone who has done this for SEO?
Man, YouTube's a scale game, right? So the amount of work that you're going to be like, how many Raspberry Pis are you going to have? You know, like how many, you know, there are services out there. That's what I'd be looking for. I mean, creating your own. I mean, this is for YouTube specifically is a scalable task. So, you know, I'd be looking for somebody that already has something implemented. It'll save you a lot of heartache and a lot of trouble. It's just my opinion.
Yeah. Surf for SEO was the one that Marsudin was looking for. Stephen Shapiro was talking about any guesses on the monthly income of the top SEOs that we usually see. Holly follows up with, why does it matter how much they make? It's not really anyone's business. Obviously, it is. Holly's right. It's not anyone's business. But with that said, I want to say to Stephen is, sometimes you read these SEOs and saying they make a lot of money and blah, 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 all these crazy fake figures. There's a lot of that goes on, but there's guys who absolutely kill it and make serious amounts of money as well. So your earning capacity is unlimited depending on your processes and how you scale up. And people I know make very, very, very good sums of money. But what that is, how they do it, and all that stuff is not of anyone's business. Some people are comfortable earning 10K a month. Some people want to earn £1 million a month. And there are people who do that. But, you know, it's really down to your personal choice and how you want to do it. So, yeah, it's as Holly says rightly, it's none of anyone's business. Most of the top SEOs don't really share publicly how they actually make money. You know, keeping things to themselves and keeping certain things private is hugely important. Anyway, SurroundX is asking, is there a limit to the number of different affiliates you would recommend running on a single website?
No, I've seen sites that are flooded with different affiliates. So I don't know if there's a limit, but I would section them. You know, I don't think there's a limit, but I mean, you know, be thoughtful of your layout and your site, you know, make it make sense. Don't just have all kinds of crazy stuff. But I've seen guys with tons of affiliate different offers. So I don't see anything wrong with it.
So here, Chris, I want to see the fear in Chris's face. So I believe in the keyword golden ratio from that guy. Chris doesn't. So I want to see Chris having a fight with Holly. But what we can do is maybe get
that was
Holly
my best live stream ever with her. I had 100
really?
people on. That was my best one ever of all time. I would love to have Holly on, but I don't want to argue with her.
So what we can do is potentially get Holly on for next week's show at the start, and we can talk about this, and if you're up for that, Holly, or any other week,
that would be cool.
And
yeah, I want to be
on. We can talk about the keyword golden ratio, and we can argue about some other stuff as well, because I know Chris is a massive fear of you, Holly, and I want to throw him under the bus and stir the pot and all that stuff. But nah, be good to have you on, and let's hear your argument. And I think arguments are healthy for this industry, so let's do it. But
well, she knows the process that works. I want to be show me.
But but we do
lightning round.
I mean, has 6. Holly's not in Black Hat World. You can find her on Facebook. I saw one of guys post DR manipulation course on it. You should check it out and add that one in the DNS list, Holly Starks. So also on YouTube. So we have pretty much ran out of time for today's show. Holly, I'm just going through the last bunch of comments. You can get your brand in Alexa with podcasting, maybe. That's a good suggestion for the person that was looking for that. Paul Hogden is saying, what sort of black hat's a bowler hat, blah, 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 blah. It is what it is. But Kazi Farhan is the last person to comment. Good to see you two. Wanted to ask, what is the best way to determine where the conversion on a site is coming from, like my social media or through SEO traffic? How would you know? Your analytics should be telling you that, Kazi.
Yeah, you should be tracking that, Kazi. I would just be tracking that. Now that's an easy. I've talked to this guy, so that's easy for you. I know he's probably just trolling us. No, come on.
But yeah, you should have that. If you're not tracking that, Kazi, then you should be. You need to know what's working for you and what's not, and focus on it. So there you go. But that is us for this week. Do make sure you give us a like and subscribe. And also, I just want to answer one last thing. So no to YouTube. These things that send bots and all that stuff to your videos, YouTube's clamped down on them all. So they struggle to get above 200. I've done a live demonstration on something like that, and they struggled even though they said they wouldn't. So just want to clarify that point, that these things don't really work that well. Just try and build an audience, do YouTube ads, try and shove it all over social media and get real people on and get them talking. But the
live streaming waiting, that used to be that used to be very helpful for getting it. It used to be, you would see your face everywhere on YouTube, like all the keywords and the variations, anything SEO, backlinks. Like when you had a bunch of people previewing, waiting for your live stream to come on, and you had a bunch of people sitting, that used to work very well, but not anymore. And then uploading it and waiting, and then having people sitting on the new video, like that stuff used to work, but it's not as effective. I don't think anymore.
I've got one last question I'm going to answer, because they mentioned my son Charlie's name. So, hey, Charlie's dad. First time I've been called that. If I buy auction expired domain, shall I publish all money content at one go, or do 20 contents a month, depending, on what's going to happen? If he's going to do 100 pages the total lifetime, drip feed it on. Don't launch it all at once. Just, there's no specific number, but make it look natural. Make it look as if you are adding it over a course of a period of time. So
yeah, I try. I agree. After we spoke, like I've tried it both ways. And like as you're releasing, when you release 100 articles, you get that spike, right? But then you release 20, you get a spike. You wait a week, 2 weeks, you do another one, you get another spike. You see, so it's better. I think it is better to drip feed now. I used to say, nah, do it all at once, but nah, drip feed is a better way.
I think so. I think so myself. But on that note, guys, we are finished. So we will catch you all at the same time next week. Holly, I will be in touch. We'll get you on at the start. And you can fight with Chris. I want to see for a long time. And yeah, we'll see you all again next week. Cheers, guys.
Thanks. See you, everyone. Goodbye.